Okay, last lesson we were learning how to do the distance, use the distance formula to find the distance between 2 points. Today we're going to be finding the midpoint, which is the point right in the middle of the other two. Now we'll be able to see that a bit more accurately on this first question where we're going to draw a diagram. So it says use the number plane to the right to find the midpoint between -4, 0 and 4, -2. So let's just put some numbers on here. The point -4, 0, we go across the x-axis to -4, and 0 means it's sitting right on that line. That's my first point. My second point is 4 -2, which would be there. We're trying to find the point in the middle. Now, the formula for midpoint, you can see up there in the box. We use the symbol capital M because little m, you hopefully remember, is for gradient. We've already used that in this topic. So capital M for midpoint. You have the x1 and the x2 all over 2, so you're averaging the x values. And then you have a comma, and then you go y1 plus y2 over 2. So you average the x's to find the x number, and you average the y's to find the second number. Now, the values that you're going to sub in, you label your points the same way that we did for the distance formula. Each point has an x value and a y value. So my first point, I'm going to call x1, y1, and second point is x2, y2. Now to substitute into my formula, I have a bracket. Then I want x1 plus x2. x1 was -4 plus x2 was 4. And the formula says all over 2. Then there is a comma. Don't forget this comma. And now we want to do the y values. y1 is 0 plus y2 is -2 all over 2. Now you can't type this whole thing into your calculator. Instead, you just have to type one fraction in at a time. So I'm not going to type the bracket. I'm just going to type that first fraction where I have -4 plus 4 over 2. Okay, and that equals 0. So my first number is 0, then a comma, and now I type in the second fraction. 0, oops, let me start that again. 0 plus -2 all over 2 equals -1. And it's called a midpoint because it is a point that we're trying to find. We have an x value and a y value, and the midpoint is 0 minus 1, which I positioned there on my graph, and it does look perfectly in the middle of those 2 points. Okay, so we're not always going to draw a diagram of it, but here is another question. Find the midpoint between 4, 3 and -2, -3. Let's start by labeling our point. x1, y1 and x2, y2. Then we need to write down the formula. Capital M for midpoint equals, you open a bracket and you add the x's together. x1 plus x2 and divide by 2, comma, y1 plus y2 divided by 2, close bracket. Next step, we substitute in. Open our bracket. x1 was 4 plus x2 was -2, all over 2, comma, y1 was 3 plus y2 is -3 over 2. Don't worry about the plus minus signs. Your calculator can handle that just fine. So the third step is to type each fraction in one at a time into your calculator. So leave the bracket, type your fraction button. We want 4 plus -2 over 2 equals, okay, that one equals 1, comma. Type in your second fraction, 3 plus -3 over 2 equals 0. Okay, so the midpoint was the point 1, 0. Okay, so you're just going to be using that formula over and over again. Here is your practice right here. For each one of these questions, So question 1 here, you want to find the midpoint of all of the points that are there. Same thing in question 2, it's just written a little bit differently, but it says find, using the coordinates for A and B, you want to find the midpoint of A and B. So don't worry about the A and B so much, but you still label x1, y1, x2, y2. So you've got 2 pages. Questions 3 and question 4 are a little bit more challenging, which is why those ones are highlighted in pink there. Give those ones a go, but the first 2 questions with all those parts in there are the most important ones. So you need to finish down to page 45.